The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
The Canucks aren't giving up. Alvin racking up the phone bill to keep Nikita Zadorov. How does he do that? Well, he's got to have a hard talk with Tyler Myers, okay? More on that in a couple minutes. Let's do this. Locked on Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer since 2013, currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's episode, we got to thank you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks, because guess what? It is your Canucks every damn day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe, like, follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, okay? Also got to let you know today's episode is brought to you by Ultimate Hockey GM, okay? You ever dreamed of being the next Patrick Alvin, managing the Vancouver Canucks? Well, now you can with Ultimate Hockey GM. Whoa. It's completely free, and Locked On listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using promo code LOCKEDONNHL in the game store. To download the game, just visit hockeygm.app. That's APP, or look it up on the App Store. Ultimate Hockey GM. Start your dynasty today. Speaking of dynasties, okay? Keep talking about this Canucks Cup window. Could they be on the verge of a dynasty? Let's start with one cup win first. But in terms of them winning the cup, one guy that would theoretically help with that would be Nikita Zadorov. And this is the final countdown here, Kyle. The final countdown, reports suggesting the Canucks are going to make their final offer for Zadorov this weekend. Reports suggesting Zadorov doesn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't want to go to Utah and make $8 million a year. He wants to be a Vancouver Canuck. Can they make this happen? We're going to break it down. And we're also going to talk about the Vancouver Canucks and their love-hate relationship with Russian players. I mean, they're clearly in love with Nikita Zadorov. They want him to stick around. They also want Ilya Mikheyev out the door. So the love-hate relationship with Russians is really the main topic on this episode. Let's get into it. Before I do that, let me introduce my co-host. He's almost as big as Nikita Zadorov. Kyle Bound, how you doing, brother?
Damn, thanks, man. Almost there. The posture's changing, right? Doing more push-ups. All in all, excited to do this. And let's talk to you, Trevor Beggs, about keeping Nikita Zadorov, because 24 hours ago, he's gone. He's out the window. I don't care. I've already replaced him in my mind, okay? For real. Just the truth. Did not care. But now I'm waking up to this news, and now I'm caring again, because I did something yesterday. And that's watch a lot or hear a lot about that game yesterday. Florida, Edmonton, right? Had my eye on it, had my ear to it. And big defenseman, man. Strong defenseman, man. They do work. You want to talk about the war of nutrition, attrition, those two words? I feel as if Nikita Zadorov would be pretty important in a Stanley Cup final. Now, how are they going to keep him? I got to bring this up because, man, oh, man, there's a lot of truth here. You know how everyone's talking about Tyler Myers, right? Making $3 million a year. And then you go back to the Canucks offering Nikita Zadorov only 4.5, quote unquote, only over 5 years. I wonder if they go to Myers this weekend or doing so right now in Kelowna and ask him if he's okay with 2.5 or 2.25. So they can use this leftover change to bump Nikita's salary per year up to 5. Because I feel as if a guy like that with a lot of swagger and the playoff that he just had and his size and his charisma, and again, some of the goals he scored in the playoffs, some of the hits, I feel as if this guy wants to be known at least as a $5 million defenseman.
Yeah, and you know what? There's risk with it, obviously, but you know, based on what we saw in the playoffs, Nikita Zadorov is easily worth that money. And I think, you know, the whole idea of signing him long term is what kind of player is he going to be down the line. But the thing about Nikita Zadorov is you talk about him being a secondary option, not giving the secondary guys big dollars. The flip side to that, and it's something I struggle with too, when I'm thinking about what to do with Zadorov, is that there really just are no players in the NHL like him. There are not defensemen like Zadorov who skate like he can, who shoot like he can, based on what we saw in the playoffs, who hit like he does. at 6'6", 250 pounds. I mean, the only guy heavier in the NHL, according to NHL.com, is Jamie Alexiak, right? Nikita Zadorov is one of the biggest players in the NHL. And again, it's talking about this love-hate relationship with Russians. I mean, Vancouver was horny once upon a time for Nikita Tryamkin, who was bigger than Nikita Zadorov, but it was pretty clear that this guy he was a fringe NHLer. Nikita Zadorov is not that player. And again, I look at his underlying profile, like going back to his time in Calgary. Again, played a lot of bad teams before that, but really, I think the experience in Calgary is the most relevant. He was a damn good defenseman for Calgary. Again, albeit often in a bottom pairing role on a Flames team that was stacked defensively. But I do believe Zadorov can play up the lineup, and he's going to have to be if he's going to sign this contract with the Vancouver Canucks. But, I've said it time and time again, every Dares know, I do think Zadorov playing on this team with this coaching staff is the right spot for him. And, for me, going 5x5 in that range, I think that's fair for Zadorov, and I think it's fair for Canuck fans. And he's a fun-ass player to watch, man. I'm for it, man. Get this done. Let's go.
Damn, you've kind of switched sides. You're okay now with going up to $5 million after kind of maxing out at 4.5 a year for, again, a guy who, historically speaking, even as soon as the tail end of the season this year, was a third pairing defenseman. And I know that makes a lot of sense, right? 16 minutes per game, blah, 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 all this jazz forever and ever. But I'm taking it for more than a grain of salt of what he did in the playoffs for Vancouver, a team who finally made it back to the playoffs, a team who played some pretty stiff competition against the Oilers. The Nashville Predators were a tougher opponent than we thought. It became big boy hockey the whole way through for the Canucks in 2 rounds of the playoffs. And who was our second best defenseman? Who wasn't playing like he was a bottom pairing defenseman? It was Nikita Zadorov. Straight up. You could even make the argument, some people would if they don't like the fancy stats and they don't look at the little things. You can make the argument that he was our best defenseman, and we got the game 7 of round 2 in the playoffs. Considering, again, that he scored some big goals. All of which, in my opinion, outside of maybe the first one he scored against Nashville, all of his goals are beautiful. They had swag to it.
Yeah.
They had a lot of individual skill to it. You know what I'm saying? There's some top end there. Now, I know he's 29, Trevor, but you and I are 31. Well, I'm 31 and a half. You're 30 and like 3/4. I know it's hard for people to believe that players can get better, but I don't know, man. Something tells me that he can get better. More time with Adam Foote, boom. And also just staying in the place that he wants to stay. Like, it feels like he wants to win in Vancouver. And I know that shouldn't be the final thing for him, because final thing for me when it comes to being desperate to sign Zadorov, because it all comes down to the hockey, right? The ice hockey player that he is. But man, oh man, it makes me feel good, real good, that a guy that could probably get, I'm not even joking, 6.5 on the open market because teams are going to be desperate. He's like, yo, I'll take less to play in Vancouver, to try to win in Vancouver. He's sold. And I don't think he's going to take a step back. I think he's going to want to do the most again in Vancouver. Now, we may see struggles in the regular season because at the end of the day, it's hockey. Things happen. He's still Nikita Zadorov, but I swear to you, as soon as game 1 of the playoffs happen and the national anthem is sung at Rogers Arena or whatever arena the Canucks play at, he's going to level up. He's going to go from that 83, 84 overall defenseman to 88 or 87. He's going to be worth this money. I believe it.
An 88 or an 87. That's a big boy rating right there. Look, when I think about the Canucks defense moving forward, if they re-sign Hronek, let's say short-term, sub $7 million, dear God, hopefully, and then you got Soucy, Zadorov, and Hughes, like that's a pretty solid top 4 on defense, right? You already have it'll be the reigning Norris winner, Quinn Hughes, on your blue line. I mean, that's already a big bonus as it is. And I think Hronek's a good defenseman who's getting too much flack for a bad second half. Soucy, when he was healthy, proved to be great, and Zadorov only got better during his Canucks tenure. And then when you think about Tyler Myers, it's like, sure, this guy would take a discount at $3 million. To me, I don't even look at $3 million as much of a discount. Like, I look at, sure, I think Tyler Myers could probably get 3.5, 4 on the open market, but he's a bottom pairing defenseman. And you really can't be overpaying those guys, right? He's replaceable. And Noah Jules could probably do the job replacing Tyler Myers, to be honest with you. So, again, it's great that Myers wants to take a discount and stay. And as ruthless as it is, the Canucks should leverage that, Kyle, as you're saying, because
Yeah,
what's more important is your top 4 rather than your bottom 2.
exactly. And I still think there's a 50% chance that Myers does that. Again, this discount that everyone's talking about is $3 million per season, right? Rick Dollywall, I think, has been talking about that. And it makes sense for a guy that almost put up, like 37, 40 points or whatever the number was, right side, right-handed, blah, blah, blah. But man, oh man, in my opinion, look at the film in Game 6 and Game 7. Look at how the Canucks played as an overall unit. Tyler Myers just sucked. He was bad. The Canucks, in my opinion, don't need to be desperate to make sure they keep Tyler Myers. They got to be a little desperate to keep Zadorov, and they can do both, in my opinion, if Tyler Myers is willing to even go more south than that $3 million range. Like, give this guy 2.5. Jalen Chatfield just signed for 3 years at $9 million, apparently. That's happening pretty soon. You tell him, I don't know if Tyler Myers is better than Jalen Chatfield. Straight up. Still mistake
He played
heavy.
more. He played a few minutes more per game was the big thing, though.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm looking at the film in Game 6 and Game 7 and how bad Myers was when it came down to it. And again, there's a part of me too, right? You see Myers, he's quote unquote sexy, right? Super tall, fucking lengthy, like ice hockey coaches. These guys love these guys, right? And there we were in, pretty sick territory, up 3-2 against the Oilers. 2 chances to defeat the Oilers, get to the third round of the playoffs. And what did Adam Foote do? He looked at that tall defenseman, that big defenseman, that physical defenseman. He's like, you know what? We're going to ride this guy. We're going to ride this guy against Connor McDavid. Dude, I don't know if I want that card being played. And maybe he doesn't get played if he's not on the team. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a scary card to play. Like, what other team is doing that? We're going to play our third pairing defenseman against Connor McDavid, and it's going to work out.
Yeah, and it did not quite work out for your Vancouver Canucks. It's too bad it didn't. Maybe we'll get to it at the very end of the episode, the fact that, the Canucks might have put up a better fight against Florida than the Edmonton Oilers are doing. But that's, we'll go, oh my God, man, I don't want to go too far down that road. Let us know in the comments, if the Canucks are going to resign Zadorov, what contract do you think, what do you think the contract's going to be, and what are you comfortable with? Let us know in the comments here on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you listen to podcasts. Kyle, we might even be on TikTok too, man. I don't know. But before
we're gonna be, dude.
Zadorov's a big decision for the Canucks, but one thing they do got to figure out is Ilya Mikheyev. So on the other side, let's talk about Ilya Mikheyev. What should the Canucks do with him? And let's rank the options from best to worst in terms of what the Canucks can do with Ilya Mikheyev. Before we get to that, let's shout out our new friends over at Ultimate Hockey GM. Hey, Locked On Canucks fans, I want to take a moment to bring up one of our partners, the mobile game, Ultimate Hockey GM. Ever dreamed of becoming an NHL GM and managing your hockey franchise? Do you think you could run the Canucks better than Patrick Allvin? Well, your dreams, they can come true because you can believe in yourself, man. And if you believe you need some practice, this game would definitely be for you. You can manage every strategic aspect of the Canucks or whatever team you choose, play through the seasons, and lead your team to glory and win the Stanley Cup. Hiya, baby. Hire the right coaches, staff, trade players, or draft picks, navigate through free agency and the draft, all in a challenging and realistic game world. And, as a Canucks fans, there's no offseason. GMs are constantly making moves at every point of the year to improve their team's chances to win. And that's why I think you love this game. Ultimate Hockey GM is completely free and playable offline. Play on the go, play as you want and when you want to. By the way, Locked On Canucks listeners get 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On NHL in the game store. So make sure you check it out. To download the game, just visit hockeygm.app or look it up in the App Store. Ultimate Hockey GM. Start your dynasty today.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about Nikita Zadorov. Really? Again? I can't believe it, man, because, again, 24 hours ago, I sold my Nikita Zadorov jersey, man. I did it. Got rid of it, metaphorically speaking. Begsy bowing. On the daily, one love to the Don't Does Art Laugh for giving us the space to produce the show as well. Now, Trevor, we talked about the whole Myers thing. I feel as if I was poo-pooing on that guy quite a bit, right? Good leader, that type of guy, willing to take a discount, wants to play here. I should be Team Myers again. I'm just not on that boat that we have to be more desperate to sign him on a discount than we have to be with Nikita Zadorov, who also is willing to take a quote-unquote, metaphorically speaking, discount, okay? Now, one way we can maybe keep both and also not go so low on Myers is finding a way to get rid of Ilya Mikheyev. And now there's reports that the Canucks are openly trying to do that. Not really surprised. We got we got smart people at the top of this organization. They know what's up. They know Mikheyev is by far and away not the player that they signed, right? I even looked at some stats that Noah Strang might have tweeted out. And this guy's like barely cracking the top 100 when it comes to the fastest players in the league, right? He's just not that guy anymore. Rutherford and Alvin, they know this is a mistake. And now they got to figure out how to get rid of him. And Trevor, you brought this up in the past, right? In the recent past, that you believe Mikheyev can be traded without too much quote unquote baggage, right? Do we have to throw in a pick? Do we have to throw in like a prospect to get rid of that contract? Maybe not. How are you feeling about that now? June 14th, things are getting desperate. We may lose Zadorov, we may lose Joshua, and it's because we have Ilya Mikheyev on the team.
Yeah, you know what? Teams in the NHL, they catch up to this kind of thing, right? And we talked about it with Patrick Laine yesterday. While Laine has averaged 34 goals over the past 3 seasons, I think teams around the league obviously know he wants out of Columbus. Columbus wants to get him out of there. So, yeah, the price is going to be a bit depressed. And I think it's a similar situation with Ilya Mikheyev. Teams know the Canucks, even though they have this cap space, they're a Stanley Cup contender, right? They want to sign guys. They want to max up the cap. And Ilya Mikheyev right now is the problem child, okay? I'm the problem child, so I relate to this guy, Kyle. Maybe you're the problem child as well.
Yep.
But so that's why we're doing this here, Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every day, bitches. But Ilya Mikheyev, yeah, I think teams around the league, they see that the Canucks are in a bit of a pickle here. I do believe the guy's value, and I know 1 goal over the past 61 games, especially playing a lot with the Pedersen, that's alarming. The fact that he's gone from the 98th percentile in terms of fastest skaters to like the 70th percentile, that's a bit troubling. But I think Ilya Mikheyev still has value. I just wonder, I think teams are going to squeeze the Canucks to get an asset out of there,
Yeah.
Like I look at the Anthony Beauvillier trade as a great template for what the Canucks could do. Trade Mikheyev for a 6th or 7th round pick. Because I think he still has value out there. I mean, he still had 11 goals and 31 points.
That extra year,
the extra
right?
year. That's the problem.
That's going to hurt him. And like, again, I don't know where you came up with like he's in the 7th percentile. I don't even know what that even means, right? When people say that, I actually don't know what they mean. My mind kind of blanks out, okay? But again, this is what Noah tweeted out, okay? In 2021, 2022, Mikheyev was what? He was in the 95th percentile in top speed and the 95 percentile in speed burst. Like, explain that to me. Like, what does that mean? Like, is that like saying he's top 5 fastest player in the league? Like he's in the top 20? Like, what does that mean? So that this was a couple years ago before they signed him.
Yeah, if there were 100 players in the NHL, he'd be like the 5th fastest guy. Is basically what it's saying. Like, so you kind of have to look at it in reverse order. He's like in the 95th percentile. He's
You're a smart
only
guy.
A couple people are better than him. So, like, think about it this way. Usually there's about 800 to 1,000 NHL skaters in a season. So Mikheyev's, oh God, what's that math? He's basically one of the top 50 fastest players in the NHL.
And then in
before his knee injury.
And then in 2024, yes, after his knee injury, he dropped down to the 69th percentile in top speed and 70th in speed burst. So yeah, there's a decline there. And it makes me want to bring this thing up again. Because I would not be surprised if Rutherford and Alvin champions, right? You got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you do have to side with that saying, right? If you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. I wonder how close these guys get to finding a way to put a dude who I feel as if has had like one big operation on his knee over the last 14, 15 months. His knee's just been buckled for like 2 years, it seems like. I wonder if Rutherford and Alvin can do some scheming, get a second opinion, and find a way to get this guy on the LTIR prior to the season. Straight up. I brought that up like 4 times in a row. I'm sorry. I got to do it. Because if Vegas is doing bullshit like this and Tampa Bay is doing bullshit like this, then you best believe a team up north should do it as well. Just the truth.
Yeah, well, let's just rank the options the Canucks have with Mikheyev right now. And the best option is You find Doc to get this guy on LTIR to the playoffs because that's a good NHL
Yeah.
card, man. Who doesn't love that? I think the second best option is you trade him for a late round pick. Very similar to the Anthony Beauvillier trade. I think at this point, because of the extra year, because he's been slumping, he's been trending downwards. I think that is a stretch at this point. And then from there, I think attaching a soft sweetener to a trade is probably option number 3. Like you attach, I mean, the Canucks don't have many picks. Maybe it's like a 5th round pick next year. Like you attach a sweetener to get rid of Mikheyev, but not some big sweetener. Like you can't be, in my opinion, you can't really be retaining salary. You can't really be buying the guy out. Although I would take salary retention in a trade over buying him out because, I've flip-flopped on that as well. I think buying him out is certainly an option, but then you're just going to add more dead cap to the books in the OEL years when that contract buyout is going to be big. So again, I go LTIR, trade him for a late round pick, attach a late round pick, retain salary to trade, buy him out. And actually, you know what I would say is that if it comes to, attaching big assets to trade him or buying him out, I'd probably prefer just to keep him because I don't think he's going to live up to his contract. But I do think he's going to be better than he was last season. I do think there's a lot of averages there where he was gripping the stick. He lost his confidence. Now he has a full summer to recoup his knee injury and be better. Like I do think there's another level to Ilya Mikheyev's game. I don't think he's ever going to live up to that contract. It was a mistake to sign that contract. And I think you and I said that at the time, even though we weren't doing Locked On Canucks, we said to each other personally. So, but I would still rather keep Mikheyev than attach a big sweetener or buy him out. But if you can attach a soft sweetener, trade him for a late round pick, or do the magic LTIR, those are your 3 best options with Ilya Mikheyev.
Find a way, dude. Find a way because, again, there's like a small to big chance that the Canucks lose out on Zadorov and Joshua because they got to keep Ilya Mikheyev, who definitely is going to be playing in the bottom 6 next season. Remember that quote from Patrick Alvin? He put the accountability on himself, right? He did not blame Mikheyev for struggling this season, right? In being a top 6 player. Alvin said it himself. He blames himself for, again, not having depth on this team that allowed Mikheyev to be pushed down the lineup. And you look at some of the players that are possibly leaving the Canucks. I already brought up Joshua. You got to bring up Sam Lafferty too. There's going to be some holes there. And again, Mikheyev, not the sexiest player, almost at $5 million, not giving you a bunch. But if he does get better and find his game, silver lining, all in all, there's still a useful player there. There really is. Anyways, Bagsy, who we shouting out before we get to the comments on the last part of the show? It's Friday. The sun is shining. I said we're available on Pornhub about 15 minutes ago. That's not true yet. But that wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't think you got to be naked to post stuff on Pornhub. So it could be a marketing thing, You get what I'm saying? Could be something. More distribution, more eyes, more guys. What?
Could be. Wow. Interesting. On the other side, Kyle will tell you why he is not a fan of 3-ways. Oh, wait, he already did that yesterday, man. You're on a roll this week, man. What kind of porn are you doing? Anyways, you can tell people on the other side after we showed it our friends over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That's the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, baby. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your the MVP and bring home huge wins. Oh, yeah. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.
People, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks at the Don't Dose Art Lab. And here on YouTube and all these podcast platforms on this show called Locked On Canucks, my name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs. do us a favor. Hit the like button, right? The more likes I get, the more likes Begsy gets, the closer and closer we get in having the first double date in our relationship, right? We've never been on a double date before. With your wife, my girl, boom, bam, we get more likes. We rack up that bill. We have a good time at Cactus Club. We all win. Straight up, why haven't we gone on a double date yet? It's because you have children, right? It's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, it's because you have children. Maybe once I get past this weekend, we can talk about it, buddy. Because summer's here. Locked On Canucks. Maybe we'll be only 4 days a week instead of 5. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a bit more time. But this weekend, man, I got to tell you, I'm stressing out. The sun is shining right now.
Okay.
We got Henry, my son's first birthday party on Saturday. I'm not sure if you're coming or not.
I'm coming, dude.
But you're coming?
I almost came last week, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he messaged me and anyways. But it's supposed to piss rain, so I'm like, damn, am I gonna be squeezing 25 people into my place? It might get a little bumpy in there, buddy. But that's okay. We'll have the beers, we'll have the burgers. It'll be a good time, no matter what.
There you go, man. Whatever, man. If it's an inside party, it's an inside party, man. It is what it is. You know why I'll be something you don't have to worry about, bro. Your child is not gonna remember this. Do you remember your first birthday?
No, man. I do. I've seen the photos though, man.
That's cool. That's beautiful. That's cool, man. That's cool. Hey, speaking of seeing things, let's look at these comments, okay, before we get out of here. Again, Nikita Zadorov possibly staying, last-ditch effort happening this weekend. They're going to make their calls. They're going to make a quote-unquote final offer, whatever that means. Maybe by Monday, we're seeing the press conference, man, because this is going to be a pretty big contract, in my opinion. Okay, anyways, Gigatronic asking if we're on OnlyFans. Not yet. But I think we are creating another show. More on that over the summer. And will it be on a different website? I think so, man. It's just the truth, okay? How about this comment again from Gigatronic? Would you be willing to attach Höglander with Ilya to get rid of that contract? Are you doing that, Trevor? No,
not a chance. Not a chance in hell. No, Höglander, come on. He's look at the value on that guy. 1.1 million.
Mm-hmm.
One more season to go in that, and 24 goals last year. I'm still penciling Höglander into a role beside Pettersson. I just think you need to get a Gensel type to play on that line as well. Al, how do you sound to that? Gensel, Pettersson, Höglander. If the Canucks side Gensel, buddy. Is that the trio you want to see?
Yes. That's tenacity, man. That's the new Sidney Crosby, Jake Gensel, and Brian Rust. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's go to more comments, okay? Dr. Haas, speaking the truth, a lot of people got to be on this wagon too. We're talking about signing Zadorov. We spent all this time doing that and spending our money, and very little talk on this Hronek deal that still needs to go down as well. And Dr. Haas is saying, man, we need Filip Hronek. Does Quinn Hughes have the season he has without Filip Hronek? And the answer is no. It's the truth. Hronek brings things to the table. He makes Hughes' life a lot easier. He's good at passing the puck too. Again, that play they make at the blue line, when it's on, it's on. They just dominate in the offensive zone. I think Hughes needs Hronek to have this type of output. It's obvious. It really is obvious. Chris Tanev is not doing what Filip Hronek does. They're different players.
Yeah. I still think Hughes would have had his breakout season without Hronek. I do think Hronek, was definitely the best partner Hughes ever had. But I think Hughes is having that breakout season with or without Hronek. I really do.
Damn.
Call me crazy, man. Call me crazy. Okay. Hronek was great on that pair.
Call me crazy, but I'm hearing things, okay? I'm hearing things. I don't even know if I'm just assuming, okay? I'm hearing things and I'm seeing things. Something tells me that Filip Hronek is one of the most popular players in that dressing room, okay? Okay, I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it. We like to say the same thing about Nikita Zadorov, right? I'm telling you, it would hurt Quinn Hughes if Filip Hronek wasn't there anymore. It really would, okay?
Yeah, I'll bring up these stats real quick. I was looking at them after we did the Should the Canucks Trade Hronek episode earlier this week. And, Hronek's numbers at even strength, in terms of, shots for, scoring chances, expected goals, they plummet without Quinn Hughes. Now, he spent most of his time with Quinn Hughes, so there's a bias there. I think it was 1,100 even strength minutes with Quinn Hughes, 200 minutes without. But Hughes' numbers without Hronek, they're fine. They look exactly the same. So I'm just saying, Quinn Hughes is an unbelievable talent. Hronek's a great player. Eye test matches that, but the stats don't lie. Hronek was propped up by
Okay, well, Trevor, you're really showing your true colors here, man. The amount of loyalty that you have in your blood is very slim, and chances are that if you had a chance to replace me, you would do the same thing, man. You would do the same
Yeah,
thing, right?
I
Come
saw
on,
Aaron, I
man.
saw Aaron Gray in the comments, man. He's my backup goalie for you.
Unbelievable, man. Aaron Gray in the comments asking or reminding Trevor that he does have a ball hockey game tonight. Okay, you know what? It's Friday. Go Canucks, go. We just talked about the Canucks a lot. Blah blah blah. We're gonna end this hockey podcast with another type of hockey question, okay? And then Begsy sign us out. Trevor, man, sum up your first season very shortly playing ball hockey on a Div 18 team who kicked out their goaltender 4 games into the season, 3 games into the season, 2 games into the season. This Div 18 ball hockey team kicked out a member of their team. Potential lawsuit going down. All this is going on. And last time I checked the stats, your team hasn't lost since Aaron made this decision. Unreal, man. Is he the biggest leader in the Lower Mainland when it comes to the game of hockey?
Yeah, honestly, I wanted Aaron Gray to be nominated for NHL GM of the Year because he saved our season with his scouting tactics, man. Unbelievable. My first season, and you know what? It's funny because I actually thought of myself. I'm like, which member of the Canucks would I be out there? I kind of feel like I'd be Ilya Mikheyev because, you know, I'm a pretty fast guy, but my hands have been lacking for sure. I scored in the first game. I think I'm pointless since. Maybe I should have got another assist. But it's not about that. It's about the team winning games.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like I'm a pretty good, responsible player. But, man, oh, man, my skills have been lacking. That's what you get when you don't play ball hockey since high school, and then you sign up for a league in your 30s. That's what happens, man.
Yeah.
And I saw your stats, buddy. I know that you were an all-star. You were a point-per-game guy, score goals, like left, right, and
Power
center.
forward.
And then I'm looking at my stat sheet, and I'm like, damn,
dude, it's because
you know,
Findus love ball hockey. Findus, and people who look like me, we love ball hockey. People who look like you love ice hockey. Okay, straight up, man. Have you ever bought a girl to watch your ball hockey game? Like, has your wife ever watched your ball hockey game? She's gonna be
she hasn't yet.
She won't like it, bro. Maybe your son and daughter will, but she'll probably think that she's spending her time watching you play gym class. Straight up, dude. Anyways, man, go Canucks, go. One love to Aaron Gray for, again, doing whatever it takes for the team. Again, save Trevor Beggs' ball hockey season. I'm hearing that they kicked out a female in 2024, okay? This is like you're going against all the grains here to make sure you get dubs. And at the end of the day, Trevor Beggs, a potential ball hockey champ because Aaron Gray is doing everything for the team. Speaking of which, Nikita Zadorov, I believe he's that type of guy too. We'll do whatever it takes for the Canucks. Speaking of which, bro, it's June 14th. This guy knows he has a big payday coming, and he is still willing to do whatever it takes to stay in Vancouver. Why? Because he wants to be here. He wants to win here. And because of that, I'm on board for paying this guy $5 million. I really am. And maybe on Monday, we'll see that deal signed. Begsy, sign us out. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Discord in the link below. Blah, blah, blah. Go Canucks, go.
Go Canucks, go. I'm going to answer 2 more questions quick before I get out of here. Gigatronic asking, will the Oil get swept? Yes, F the Oilers. Aaron Gray saying, Trevor, what player comp am I? I've thought about this, Aaron. Ian Cole. You're sturdy. You're solid. Got a couple nice plays. I think Ian Cole is Aaron's comparable. He's my partner on D tonight. Let's go, baby. Shout out to the everydayers, occasional listeners, first-time listeners, new subscribers, and those of you who joined us on the live show on YouTube. We love each and every one of you. Go Canucks, go. F the Oilers. Nikita Zadorov, come back, baby. And we'll be back next week on Monday. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Cal Bound. And you've been listening to Locked on Canucks.
You're Locked on Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks,